It's Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. Thanks for tuning in today. I want to get right into what's going on. Jerome Powell and the Fed came out today. We've got tensions in the Middle East. Are we heading towards World War III? So much happening. We have an additional 2,000 National Guard headed to Los Angeles. But let's get into what the Fed did today. Fed sees its preferred inflation gauge topping 3% this year, higher than previous forecasts. And I would say the Fed was not particularly dovish today. And I watched a little bit of the Fed news conference with Jerome Powell this morning. And I just wrote down some of the key things he was saying. He says, U.S. economy is in solid shape. Now, comment down below, do you believe that the U.S. economy is in solid shape? I think that is a bold-faced lie to the American people. There is no way, especially Jerome Powell, he knows there's no way that the U.S. economy is in solid shape. He says the cost of the tariffs has to be paid by the consumer. Could be some truth to that. Uncertainty, he said, peaked in April. He went on to say all members of the Fed voted to keep rates unchanged. So this isn't just Jerome Powell. This is all the members of the Fed saying that they did not want to cut rates today. He says unemployment remains low. Well, if you look at the official data, it does look like it's remaining low, but the real data, we know unemployment is over 24%. Labor market not crying out for a rate cut, he says. I would totally disagree with that. He said inflation hotter than expected because of the tariffs. He says very few people are being laid off. Again, every day you turn on the news, you're reading these articles, it's thousands of people in major corporations getting laid off. I was watching Fox Business after Jerome Powell spoke at the conference, and they had Peter Schiff and Andy Brenner as guests. And Peter Schiff warned, get ready, stagflation is coming. It is here. Andy Brenner said that the labor market is absolutely horrible. Peter Schiff said that lower rates aren't the solution. Higher rates are the solution. And I agree 100%. We kept rates too low for too long, and now we keep begging for lower rates. We need to raise interest rates. That's the only way we're going to get prices to come down. It's going to crash real estate. It will crash the stock market, but it's the only way this gets resolved. And honestly, I think it's far overdue for a housing crash and a stock market crash. Everything, assets across the board are completely overpriced, overvalued. Peter Schiff, in my opinion, is 100% correct here. We don't need cheaper credit. We need cheaper prices. The easy way out is just lower rates so everybody can go borrow more money. We need lower prices. Things need to be crashed. We are long overdue for a crash. They got us into this mess with lower rates. Remember, low rates for too long, the Fed in there buying mortgage-backed securities, buying bonds, and now we have a massive bubble on our hands that they created. And the answer is not lower rates, it is higher rates. If we don't do something really soon about this mess, they will be forced, I believe, to take the easy way out. They will cut rates, and then we are going to see the potential of hyperinflation in America. We're going to see big problems here because more than likely at some point the pressure will be on the Fed. They will fold, they will cut rates, and then you're going to see inflation run absolutely out of control. Again, this is how we got here. Low rates, too long, and a Fed buying mortgage-backed securities, buying bonds, and this is what you got because money was so cheap. Everybody went out and bought homes that they normally couldn't afford. This caused a housing bubble, and now look at the disaster in real estate. Nothing is selling. People can't afford to buy. Sellers can't afford to sell. It's a disaster. Housing starts and permits plunged to weakest since the pandemic. May housing starts, single family, up only 0.4%. Multifamily tumbled 30.4%. Again, a bad indicator of what's happening to the U.S. economy and the housing market. This is one of the worst housing markets I have ever seen. And to me, it is on borrowed time before we begin to see massive cracks in the housing market. We're beginning to see it right now, But there is so much inventory piling up, and we are losing qualified buyers because people are losing jobs. Inflation is wrecking them. People don't have really, half this country doesn't have $500 saved up. So how in the world could you have a healthy housing market when half the country is absolutely broke? Makes no sense whatsoever. Americans increasingly abandon financial planning as economic pressures mount. This on Fox Business today. Even people with money are beginning to feel the pain. 25% of wealthy Americans shows here dropped their financial planning amid inflation concerns. Most people right now that are not wealthy, what will they do? They will just turn to a credit card if they have an emergency. And then they get deeper and deeper into debt when the average rate is probably around 24% right now. There's people out there with rates at 36%. And so the average person now in America, millions of people, have absolutely no savings, nothing. If they have an emergency, the only thing they have is a credit card. And they're going to get deeper and deeper into debt. And these people are just complete debt slaves. There's going to be no way out for these people. I've been saying for years, cut things out of your life, put some cash away, buy some metal, buy some food, all the basics. And, when people got free money, when they got unemployment benefits, what did they do? They went out and just partied it all away. And now reality is here knocking at the door. And I would say this is probably a continuation of the worst economy I've ever seen. The worst economy I've ever seen has been going on for years now, 4 years. It didn't just happen in the last 30 days or 90 days. We've been witnessing the worst economy for years, and it just keeps getting worse. It just seems like every week this economy gets worse. More layoffs, more businesses closing, more people going deeper into debt. You look at college tuition debt, auto debt, mortgage debt. It's unbelievable. I don't think there's any way out of this other than a massive crash. There has to be some sort of reset. And in that reset, it is going to be very, very painful for a lot of businesses, for banks, for financial institutions, and for most Americans. But if it does not happen, this thing is going to be extremely painful for the coming years ahead. And the worse it gets, it's just going to make the collapse that much more catastrophic. Here's another one today. Gap pours $58 million into robotics and automation at its largest global distribution facility in Tennessee. How many jobs does this replace now? You're seeing where this is all going. Think about 5 years from now. How many jobs will not exist because AI and robotics will have taken over? Anything from a warehouse job to a restaurant job to a distribution facility to whatever. Millions of people have no idea, but they're about to lose their jobs in the very, very near future. And we have so many people in this country and so many people who've come from all over the world to this country. How are these people going to feed themselves when everybody's going to be competing for a job? And so many of these jobs are being replaced right now and are going to be replaced in the coming years with robotics and AI. What will people do for work? Is everybody going to work at Starbucks? Is everybody going to work at McDonald's? Is everybody going to work in leisure and hospitality? Make sure that you have skill sets, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you know how to do things that maybe aren't going to be replaced so quickly by AI. Because I think in the next 5 years, a lot of people right now that think that their job is safe and secure. By the way, nobody's job is safe and secure. Anybody could lose their job now just because of the economy. But within the next 5 years, you're going to be competing against AI and robotics. And so know how to do things, because a lot of people, they're not listening, and they're gonna wake up one day and find out that their job no longer exists. Another one today from CNBC. Social Security Retirement Trust Fund may be depleted in less than a decade. Trustees report finds. The trust fund Social Security relies on to help pay retirement benefits may be depleted by 2033, at which point 77% of the benefits would be payable. Disability insurance may also run out within another decade, could run out by 2034. I bring this up, again, this was on CNBC today. I bring this up. What would you do if Social Security said, hey, we got to give you a 25, 50% haircut? Or what if it just doesn't exist? People, it seems, are working longer and longer until they get older and older because Social Security just isn't keeping up with inflation. But just think about if it didn't exist at all, or you got a 50% haircut, what would you do? 2033 isn't that far away. And whose fault is it this? Who robbed Social Security? Why are people not up in arms? It amazes me that we have so many people protesting across the streets of America, especially in Los Angeles, yet you can rob and pillage Social Security, money that you worked hard for to pay into, and they're telling you in 8 years it may not exist. You're on your own. And yet people seem to not worry about that. They don't seem up in arms about that. But what would you do if in the next 8 to 10 years, your Social Security gave you a major haircut or didn't exist at all? Could you imagine what this country would look like? We are heading into a catastrophe, ladies and gentlemen, if things don't turn around here quickly. The debts, the deficits, Social Security, disability insurance, all this stuff we are now finding out has been looted. And yet people don't seem to be too worried about that. They worry about other things. Here's another one. Pro-Israel hackers destroy $90 million in Iran crypto exchange breach, analytics firm says. I don't even know really how to comment on this war in the Middle East. I think war is horrible. There are people on both sides paying a terrible price here, children, families. It's a really ugly situation. But this hacking of $90 million in Iran crypto, what happens when that's your crypto? And I say, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. If all your money is on a computer screen, you are vulnerable to losing it. I think crypto is extremely dangerous. We see this, it seems like every other week, some cryptos being hacked. Now they're going after people physically, finding their addresses with that breach that we had a couple weeks ago, where they were able to find some of the big whales, some of the big crypto holders, their names, their addresses. And so these people now are susceptible to a crime. They know who you are. They know where you live. And so if these people are unaware of this, these people, we've seen this many, many times where these criminals will go to their house, threaten their lives, that if they don't get their passwords, they're going to disappear. So be extremely careful, but don't keep all your money, I believe, in cryptos or on a computer screen. That goes for, not keeping all your money in the bank. But so many people are so comfortable. We love the convenience of just having everything on a computer. But America is going to go through some rough times too. We are cyber attacked daily. But what happens when it's your crypto, when it's your bank that gets shut down? And that time is coming, because the technology now that is circulating across the world, countries like Iran, Russia, China, you name it, all have the technology to be doing this stuff. So do we. But what would you do if you got completely wiped out? This stuff is very, very susceptible to theft. So be very, very careful with that. Again, I'm not telling you not to have crypto. I'm just saying don't keep all your money in one place. Don't keep it all in the bank. Don't keep all your money on a computer. And know that crypto is not as safe as you might think it is. And here's another example of that. Ayatollah tells Trump, we will never surrender in televised speech to the nation. He says the damage it will suffer to the United States will be far greater than any harm that Iran may encounter. What do you think about that? Do they have something up their sleeves? Do they have cells in America? Can they hurt America? I don't know. Right now, it seems that the administration does want to cut a deal. I don't think that the administration wants to go to war. That's my personal thoughts. I could be wrong. There might be people in the administration, but I think that this president is holding off not to go to war. I think he wants to do a deal with Iran. I pray to God that we come to a deal. I really, really do. Strait of Hormuz disruption fears surge after former Iranian minister threatens transit restrictions. The waterway, as you know, handles roughly 20% of global oil trade. It is one of the world's most critical maritime checkpoints. Any disruption could send oil prices to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. It would be something that would affect the entire world. It would definitely affect us. Prices would absolutely soar. You would see oil below past $100 a barrel. And you know how far it goes past 100, maybe it goes to 120, 150. But it would definitely hurt us. Prices of literally everything would go up overnight. So let's pray to God that we see peace in the Middle East. Peace in Eastern Europe, which now we're not even hearing anything what's going on over there. Now it's all about the Middle East. We really need peace. We need to be praying for peace around the world. And let me remind you, we have very, very bad players here on American soil who've been coming over here for years. And I pray to God that we do not have cells in America ready to do really bad things here. Be aware of that. They're here. And if we get entangled with Iran, we have to consider that there could be blowback, fragmentation because of it, because they could do something right here because their people are here. They're here. And you don't know what they're capable of doing, but they will be very, very vengeful if this takes place. So be cautious, and let's just hope that cooler heads prevail and that this president, this administration can come to a peace deal. Israel, Iran, America, and everything just calms down. Now, is that going to happen? Probably not. It probably is not going to happen. Be ready for anything, but be praying. We'll see how it plays out. Please leave a comment down below. Love to know your thoughts on any of this. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. There's no obligation. There's no charge. You just press subscribe, hit the bell notification, and share my videos all over your social media. You have my permission. Share my videos. God bless every one of you. God bless America. Be careful out there. Talk to all of you very, very soon.